Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and NPR. As always, I'm Grady, and live on Skype we got Josh.
Hey.
My intro was 0.5 seconds faster this week because we have a lot of SummerSlam to get through. It's not as crazy as a WrestleMania week show, but we do have to preview 10 matches, and SmackDown hasn't even happened yet, so there might be more than 10 by the time the pay-per-view rolls around, but we can only preview the 10 that are here at the moment. And I'm just going to throw a dart at a dartboard, and we're going to start with the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, the Usos taking on the Mysterios.
The Bloodline should retain here. Again, there would be no point in putting the titles on the Usos to add them to the Bloodline if we're just going to put the titles back on the Mysterios. I also think this may be more about the Mysterios than the Usos themselves.
You think they're going to finally do what we keep suggesting over and over?
I think they may. There may be a miscommunication in this match, and Ray accidentally ends up resulting in Dominic getting pinned.
Okay.
And I think it'll start to slide towards evil Dominic.
Yeah. We know that eventually this whole thing is going to end up with Dominic versus Ray, right? We know that is the end goal eventually. It's how long are they going to stick together as one big happy family. So if SummerSlam's as good a time as any for it to explode.
It is the WrestleMania of the summer.
Just WrestleMania 2, but not WrestleMania 2. I'm going to move on. And specifically, I'm going to move straight on into the Raw side of things. Same division, tag team championships are on the line. AJ Styles and Omos, they've held them for 6 odd months at this point, going up against their toughest opponent yet, RKBro. But are they on the same page?
I think this is maybe where AJ and Omos lose their titles. I think AJ will end up being the weak link. And I think a famous RKO out of nowhere will end up securing the tag titles.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's something we'd been saying for weeks heading into this, right? The RK-Bro were going to get these tag titles. That was going to be the thing. And now we've got a chance that's in sight, and then Randy Orton decides to go off book and pop an attack on Riddle. And it's like, are they going to be able to coexist? That's always the question.
That's Randy Orton in a nutshell. We knew that going into this, is that he could drop Riddle at a hat and still work with him.
He's just putting him in his place and reminding him of his place on the totem pole. Is that it?
Pretty much. I mean, he is a 14-time world champion, so it goes without saying. He is one of his nicknames is the Viper, which is a snake. You don't trust snakes.
Randy is Snake.
Yeah. So, yeah, I can see it blowing up in the ring, but I think this tag team is pretty hot right now, and I think the fans want to see it. Riddle is godly over right now. So I'm all for even if it's only a couple months, a title reign with RK-Bro.
Yeah. We don't know how long it's going to last. We don't know exactly where it's all going to roll up and go out, but it'll be fun while it lasts. We're jumping now again. We're just going to jump to Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal.
I think this will be more of a war than people realize it will be. I think these two are going to absolutely just bring it.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, Drew will win. Especially since Jinder's friends are kind of banned from ringside.
Yeah, it does even up the odds a little bit.
But I think I do think good will overcome evil here. But I think it will be an entertaining match. Is what I'm more interested in.
Yeah,
if only Heath wasn't banned from the WWE entirely, we could have had a 3-man band reunion in a triple threat.
Yeah. Instead, he chose Impact. But yeah, with with these two, I think you're right. They've spent so long building this as a blood feud, basically. They had heat before, and now they're coming back up, and this is happening. And we've had motorcycles involved, we've had attacks backstage. They've built this feud as these two guys want to get hands on each other, so they can beat the ever-loving HE double hockey sticks out of them. It's going to be a brutal one. It isn't going to be a Drew McIntyre wins in 60 seconds kind of match.
No. Maybe 5 minutes, but not 60 seconds.
Yeah, depends how long the show is to how many minutes.
And this is also between two former WWE champions. So that's just a fun thing to say. Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre, former WWE champions.
You just like saying it because the internet hates being reminded that Jinder Mahal is a former WWE champion. Yep. That's the only reason you say it.
That and Heath Slater will never be a WWE champion.
Hey, never say never. Never say never.
Well, I say that because a certain picture you made me Heath.
That is a massive throwback. That's almost 7 years back. Was I Drew? I think I was Drew.
Yeah, and a former colleague was Jinder. I was Heath.
Nice. You're one of the more entertaining of the three. That's all I can give you. I'm sorry. But talking of entertaining, we got another singles match without a title on the line here. Alexa Bliss has her SummerSlam match, and it is going to be against Eva Marie. This
will probably be the most bizarre match of the entire weekend, and that's including if you include AEW's Rampage on Friday, and anything that NXT can come up with on Sunday. Although on Sunday there might be something to do with Index, I don't know. We'll see about that. But yeah, this will just be a bizarre match. I think Alexa Bliss wins here, and I think it'll be largely because she possessed Judo.
Yeah, this is a hard one, right? In the other matches, we can sit around and we'll be like, oh, this person's a little bit stronger, this person's a little bit faster. We are trying to predict a match between someone who's just made their return to the pro wrestling world and was known prior as not the best wrestler in the world, who has a really good wrestler who's been sort of subservient, but also not really wanting to be there, and a actual witch who mind controls people. And there's just no predicting that.
Yeah. The only thing that could possibly throw a wrench in it is that they may want to use this as maybe a blow-off for the whole Alexa and the witch thing, and return her back to normal in like a couple months. So they may have her fall to Eva here, and Dewdrop crushes her, and we don't see her again for a couple months, and then we see regular Alexa when she comes back because of the Fiend being gone permanently.
We kept talking about it, right? And obviously there's a few matches that have to flow out the correct way for this all to happen, but that seems like that blow-off would be Nikki, if anywhere. And this match just seems so semi-random that if this was the end of Alexa Bliss and her witchcraft, then, it wouldn't be one of the weirdest things in the world, but it would be on the top, 100. Just of seemingly coming out.
Such a WWE thing to do, though.
Yeah, that's why there is a top 100. As they keep doing so many weird things. But yeah, I don't know. I'm with you in terms of official predictions. I'm going to put Alexa Bliss down. I think she'll pick up the win here. As you say, maybe involving some mind control of Dewdrop. Just don't know. We'll have to wait and see how she exactly pulls it out of the bag, but I think she has the advantage over Eva for sure. Let's get one more match in. Let's throw in Sheamus, Damian Priest, United States Championship on the line. We talked about how AJ Styles and Omos had their toughest championship number one contender. This might be Sheamus's toughest number one contender in a while.
Yeah, and I think it ends Sheamus's United States run.
It's been a long
And
one.
I think this is Damian Priest's moment. He gets the title, and we see what they can do, where he can go from here with it. But I do think he walks out as the new United States champion.
We had a period, we were really building Damian Priest up. He debuts on the main roster. He's got all this stuff with Bad Bunny. He's doing amazing stuff at WrestleMania. A little bit of a hiccup there in the middle with the zombies and the weird stuff, but then they started to build him back up as the serious threat and contender, and sort of, what's it called in football? They re-got the ball in their hands after a fumble, whatever that's called. And have started building him back up to the point that I agree with you. I think he is going to be the next United States champion and leave SummerSlam with the belt over his shoulder.
I'm shocked. I thought you'd die on the heel with Sheamus as champion.
Oh yeah, I forgot I'm meant to be super fan. Oh yeah, Sheamus gonna win no matter what, yeah. To be fair, I did the same thing with Drew towards the end of his. I also knew that Drew's time had come. Sheamus has been great with the belt. I've liked what he's done with it. I've liked his matches, even with the smaller guys. That seemed to be what they were going for, right? You got some Humbertos in there, and you got some. I think Mansoor had a couple shots. It was good stuff. I quite enjoyed what he was doing, but everything has to come to an end. And Damian Priest is fresh, and as much as I love Sheamus, him as the United States champion isn't that fresh anymore. It's been in the fridge a few days now. It's time to swap it out, cook some new food. Alrighty, well that is halfway through the card for SummerSlam, so now we are going to go into our entrance theme for the week. Let me get the year right, because I'm sure I don't remember what year it was. 1992 SummerSlam's theme, because Josh didn't like the song for this year, and this one at Wembley was the last SummerSlam on a Saturday. So enjoy some lovely British music. And you're back with Wrestling Roundup on FreeFM, ArrowFM, and NPR. I'm Grady, he's Josh, and that was SummerSlam 1992's theme. We got half the card left to get through for SummerSlam 2021, though. So I'm going to open the floor. You got the 2 women's titles matches, the 2 world's titles matches, and Edge versus Seth Rollins to pick from. You can pick any of those. Which one do you want to chat about?
Let's go with Edge versus Seth Rollins.
Edge versus Seth Rollins. It was a match that people talked about as a bit of a dream match. He returned. Looked like maybe we were going to get it. Now we 100% are. We've built to it. Edge is called Seth Rollins, nothing but a budget Edge. It's been pretty heated between these two.
Yeah, this is going to be the most interesting match of the night, I think. Simply because we go with Edge, who's a Hall of Famer and would be fair in winning this match. Do we go with the younger Seth Rollins, and who may be the next challenger to Roman if he survives his challenge. So, yeah, it's an interesting match. I personally think it would be best maybe for Edge to put Seth over.
Yeah.
But knowing WWE, they'll probably put Edge over, so that'll be my official prediction.
Yeah, it's a tough one, as you say, looking at it, just because Edge, since returning, has done, not the craziest amount. Obviously, there was an injury in the middle there to contend with, but he's telling sort of these singular in a bottle stories, and this one with Seth Rollins is just the next in a bottle story. Is it going to be one and done at SummerSlam? I can't tell you that. I agree that my preference of outcome to this match is Seth Rollins coming out on top, especially if it is going to be one and done. I'd just like to see the young guy pick up the win. Edge can take the loss and still be a credible threat. And arguably Seth can also take the loss and still be a credible threat. But if this whole storyline is built around you took my shot at the title, if I can't have a shot, nobody can. for Seth to lose here and then somehow try and still work his way into a title shot. It's just a little bit off. I don't necessarily see how you can connect those two things. Whereas if Seth wins here, he's got a pretty clear and easy path to just say, well, Roman, let's go. Presuming Roman's the one who wins. And let's just talk about that one since we were talking about it there. Universal.
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What do you want then?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about Universal yet.
Oh, spicy.
I want that to be the last match because I have a big prediction for that.
Alrighty, we'll save that one.
I want to go to the Raw's Women's Championship.
Alrighty. Raw Women's Championship, triple threat match between brand new champion Nikki Ash, previous champion for a couple, one day, Charlotte Flair, and previous champion before that, Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. I enjoyed this entire feud. It made Nikki matter. She got the championship with the briefcase, and I think she retains. I think her losing to Rhea, confirms she retains.
Okay. You're that confident.
I'm that confident. I think Nikki retains the title here, especially if they don't write Alexa off with her match earlier in the year. I think they will then be on a collision course. At some point, the Raw Women's Championship will be involved in a potential match with Nikki versus Alexa.
Yeah. I think that is the money match.
That's a big reason that's a big reason I'm going with Nikki to retain. Is I believe that is an eventual match, and we need Nikki to hold on to the title to do so. And I think Nikki will pin Charlotte in the match.
That's even spicier. Yeah, I can definitely see everything you're saying. I agree with the Alexa Bliss Nikki stuff. If Alexa Bliss loses earlier in the night, then might change up their prediction a little bit. If we look at this match, who needs the belt more? Really, that belt has catapulted Nikki and made her relevant in this Raw Women's division. Charlotte Flair is going to be relevant with or without the belt. She's always going to be around near that top anyway. Rhea Ripley's had a really good run, but there's not a whole lot more she can do with it. Like, if she captured that belt again, what's she going to do? Run back through the same challenges that she's already had? Or, it's not Rhea's time to recapture the title just yet, I don't think. So logically, it points towards Nikki. From a division standpoint, from a storyline standpoint with Alexa, you're right, everything points towards Nikki, so it's really hard to not pick her as the winner of this match. But, she is going up against two people the caliber of Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley, so it ain't going to be an easy one for sure.
And it's just Charlotte Flair. She can always win the title when you least expect it.
She can just snap her fingers and have number 13? 14?
15. 15.
There we go.
15.
Look, I'm not good at math. We all know this. So who knows? Maybe they swerve us with what happens. We just don't know. Alrighty then, if you don't want the Universal Championship, then that's leaving you with the WWE and the SmackDown Women's.
It's SmackDown Women's now.
Bianca Belair held the title for, again, but... Sorry?
Alright. I'm hearing rumors this match might not happen.
Yeah.
Because because on one of the house shows, it didn't happen. And it was unexplained as to why.
They've both been missing for a little while.
So it's entirely possible that this match doesn't happen at all. If it does happen, I think Sasha wins. But I'm leaning more towards the match doesn't happen at all. Neither.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Obviously, in terms of predictions and previews and stuff like this, we have to assume that the match is going to happen as it is. I think I'm with you. It's pretty weird for a match to, or both participants in the match to sort of just disappear, both from house shows and stuff like that. So if it is something potentially COVID related, or maybe it's something completely unrelated from that entirely, it's We don't know. I'm not going to attempt to speculate personal lives. That's not my business. The question is just, does this match happen? I'm with you. I don't think the match happens, but if it does, then it comes down to the prediction game of, will Sasha Banks capture the title, or will Bianca Belair run through her a second time? And I don't think they make Sasha Banks take a second loss. And
especially since this is a kind of heelish stuff this time around.
And so yeah, if the match does happen, it wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to not have Sasha, and we know that the WWE love to have people wandering around mainstream media and stuff like that with their belt, and Sasha Banks is one of their biggest media and interview pushes and stuff like that, so could definitely work, and so if the match happens, that's also the way I'm leaning. I think Sasha Banks walking out with the SmackDown Women's Championship, but only if it happens. And that leaves us with the WWE Championship. Bobby Lashley defending against Goldberg.
I think Goldberg hits an iceberg named Bobby Lashley here.
How long do you have that pun saved up for?
I think... oh, I just thought of it, actually. I think this will be a brutal match. I think it'll be along the lines of Goldberg versus Drew. I think it'll be short because Goldberg's 55 and he can never work long to begin with. And I think Bobby will end up running Goldberg over. Of course, Goldberg will get a couple of spears in and jackhammer, but I think Bobby will retain at the end.
That's what I want to say. I want to sit down with you at the table, and I want to sit here and I want to say Bobby Lashley will hold the WWE Championship high above his head at the end, because that makes sense. Bobby Lashley is doing amazing things with the belt, and that it's going to be awesome, and he'll win, and there'll be awesome momentum. But I can't ignore that Goldberg factor.
Do you want my crazy prediction that you usually have me end the show off with right now?
Yeah, we can give it early. We will have it early.
Big E cashes in after the match and becomes the WWE champion.
Not that crazy, and I hope it happens. But...
Oh, that's because I'm saving a big salvo for the end here.
Okay. I'll wrap up my opinions on this one to make sure you got room for your Reigns Cena stuff. But I will go with Bobby Lashley retaining, because that's what I want to happen. I'm not going to be surprised if WWE just randomly give Goldberg the WWE title, though. I'd be sad. I would not be surprised. Alrighty then, WWE Universal Championship, Roman Reigns taking on John Cena. I'm going to just give you the floor.
Alright, first off, I think this will be match of the night. I think this will go 20-25 minutes. I think Reigns will do, and the Bloodline will do everything they can to retain the title. But I think number 17 happens.
What?
I think John Cena will beat Roman Reigns on Saturday.
What?
I think number 17 will happen to make it the biggest story of the weekend, largely because of Friday. And AEW's Rampage show from Chicago, where supposedly either Bryan Danielson or CM Punk shows up. How do you top that as WWE? By breaking the most held record in wrestling by having John Cena stand alone.
You've flabbergasted
that
me.
You can then, and Cena wouldn't have to hold it long. Maybe a couple weeks, and then you put it back on Reigns for the Bloodline storyline. But I think Cena wins the WWE Universal Championship to have his 17th title reign, to make that the biggest storyline of the weekend.
Look, I hear everything you're saying. I'm hearing it all. I'm lost for words. I'd fill the remaining 2 minutes of the show with dead air, other than the fact the radio would be unhappy with us. I came into the show thinking I was just going to be a steadfast Roman Reigns easy pick. It'll be an awesome match with John Cena. I trust the two to put on an absolute clinic. It'll be a banger. We'll love it all. We'll go home. Let's continue the bloodline. And then you throw me the curveball of, well, what if John Cena actually won? I don't know. I got nothing. You sure this isn't your big crazy prediction, not the cash-in?
No, because I was going to predict the cash-in regardless. I really do think Cena wins here. Because he's John Cena. He overcomes the odds all the time. And having that 17th world title reign, I think, would be a huge story for the weekend and would potentially overshadow anything AEW does on that Rampage at Chicago. Which I'm kind of leaning towards them trolling the internet and it not be CM Punk that shows up.
Well,
I think it actually end up being Daniel Bryan.
Alrighty. Well, we'll have to find out. I'm very sorry, NXT TakeOver 36, we have no time for you. That is all the time we have for SummerSlam, and AEW Rampage might even get an honorable mention next week, but we do have a lot to get through next week. It's been great talking to you.
Bye.
You can visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/wrestling R&D up, or our Twitter page, twitter.com/wrestling R&D up, or our YouTube page, youtube.com/wrestling RND up, and we will see you next week.